Jitsu with Miami Dolphins. The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle. It's a Dolphin touchdown. Throwing deep upfield on the near side. Man open. Touchdown! Looking deep. He's got a man. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for the touchdown. He's in. Touchdown! Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown!
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. 1, 2, 3, hit! Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one on this glorious Friday where the sun is shining, the weather is sweet. I hope all y'all are having a fantastic day. I hope y'all had a fantastic week as we head into the weekend here. Listen, I'm going to say this. So I'm sitting there putting the show together, and I basically had everything lined up, and I came across this piece, and we're going to talk about it. And the implication here is that, you know, that SI and Jeff Howard reporting that the Miami Dolphins are out on Dalvin Cook. So we're going to go over that. And then I'm going to give you the backstory because you know me. I don't just see something and then take it and throw it up. I started doing digging, and it just took me down this rabbit hole that I've never, ever really had happen to me before. So we'll talk about that. On top of that, Mike McDaniel looks to shock the world in year 2 of this offense. Barry Jackson has a good series going on. He's, giving details and things he's hearing in regards to some of the UDFAs, so we'll go over that as well. Listen, this team can separate, but they can't yak, and the analytics show it. We'll talk about it. A draft pick that the Jets brought in that a lot of us felt was a reach kind of backed up to a little bit. On top of that, you got to hear what Darius Slay and Devontae Smith were saying about Tua Tagovailoa. Very interesting stuff. So we got a lot of things to go over tonight. Again, hope all of y'all are having a fantastic evening. Already 135 plus of you in the room. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Here's the deal. On Sunday, I will be live with Neil Driscoll for Fin Too Deep. On Monday, I will be live with both Dante Collinelli of SI as well as the 33rd team, as well as Ryan Roberts will be on that show as well. We do this yearly now. We are going to break down, I'm bringing on, here you go, I'm bringing on some scout eyes, and I'm bringing on some talent evaluators, and we are going to talk about every Dolphin draft pick and the UDFAs that stand out the most. So if you want in-depth knowledge and information, Monday is going to be a show you're not going to want to miss. Tuesday, hey, your boy, I'm feeling a little bit better. Not 100%, nowhere near 100%, but I'm feeling a little bit better. And if that Cam Smith prospect profile, expect that Tuesday night. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night, we are going to be rolling. And then I'm going to do Devin A-Chain next week, and we're going to get those rolling. To be honest with you, if we didn't push back Fin Too Deep, shout out to Neil Driscoll. He was just celebrating his wedding anniversary. If we didn't push back Fin Too Deep, I probably would have dropped the Cam Smith prospect profile on Sunday anyways, because I did a lot of work on it yesterday. So when I started feeling even a little bit better. So we got a lot of content coming over the next, 4 or 5 days here. And then it's going to keep on rolling as we are only a couple weeks away from the rookies reporting to minicamp. So we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to do prospect profiles on Devin A-Chain, Cam Smith. I'll probably do Higgins and Hayes as well, and I may pick a UDFA or two depending on time permitting on where we are down the line in terms of by the time we get to all that. Guys, do me the favor, please smash that like button. On Monday, we're going to be live at 8 p.m. All right, yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. First of all, hold on a sec here. I do want to cover something because I know there was a couple donations here to go through. Shout out tonight. He said, "Get these KC queefs, a wild burger, and a French cry." Are they crying about Tyreek Hill saying he's gonna score there when he comes back there? I don't know what's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs. What's got you all worked up, Knight? Let me know. What's up, Reason? Thoughts on the Panthers versus Leafs? Oh, brother, it's beautiful. It is beautiful to watch the Leafs down 2-0, man. I mean, you guys have no idea how much, well, some of y'all might, because some of y'all might have looked up coming up here, how much the Leafs charge for tickets. Okay? Like, ridiculous money here. All right? And, like, I remember, in the Boston series what was it? 2018 or 2019? Anyways, I had a friend who went to the Boston Leaf series. It was 2018 or 2019. I forget. Anyways, how it works is, okay, close to the glass is platinum, then you go gold, etc., right? So the gold, first row gold, was like $3,700 for the first round. I was like, listen, let me tell you all a story here, okay? Okay? I have been to 3 Stanley Cup no, hold on, I apologize, my bad. 4 Stanley Cup games in my lifetime, okay? Game 3 in 08, Game 3 in 09, all right? And then I went to Game 2 in 16 and 17, all right? So, all in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? So I saw them against the Red Wings back-to-back years, the San Jose series, and the Nashville series, okay? In 2008, okay, I witnessed Sidney Crosby's first ever multi-point Stanley Cup game and first ever Stanley Cup goal. I was 6 rows from the glass. I paid $275 American. I paid under $300. The next year we went, first row, $300, still a great view. I paid like $225. All right? Now, in 16 and 17, we took the first row 300s again. We paid like $300 and then like $325 the next year. So obviously they spiked a little bit, but not that much. Okay? You sit there and you watch the Leafs, okay? They're owned by a corporation. Like, if you ever talk about a franchise in sports that are owned by corporate shills, it's the freaking Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay, you go down there, they're not even, you go down and you get good seats, you're not even surrounded by fans. You're surrounded about suits, because all they do is they give out these tickets, all these companies buy up all these lower bowl tickets and then just give them out to prospective clients and blah, 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 blah. And so you're sitting there watching the game and no one's even like watching, So, listen, not only do I hate the Leafs, I hate the team. I hate I hate everything about them. And to watch the Panthers go up 2-0, and when I saw that air come out of Scotiabank Arena when y'all tied it, and then y'all made it 3-2, oh, my heart was fluttering. I was so happy. I love it. Because you know what? I know the videos going around on Twitter and stuff. They're one of the most arrogant fan bases in all of sports. They were chanting when this team wins their first playoff series in 19 years, and they start chanting, "Bring on Florida," or "We want Florida." The arrogance of that team. And to watch it all fall apart is so beautiful. So beautiful. I love it. I'm here for every minute of it. I can't wait till Austin Matthews goes home to Phoenix, and he becomes a Coyote because he says, "Screw this." I can't wait, because they're a bunch of losers. Okay? Listen, we may not have won a Super Bowl since 1973, but they haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967. And the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs won a Stanley Cup, there were only 6 NHL teams. Okay? As we all know, the NHL expanded to the second 6 after the 67 season. So, they ain't won since there were 6 teams in the freaking league. Bunch of losers, okay? And I hope the Panthers sweep the Leafs. I'm praying for it every night. I hope. I pray. Sweep, sweep, sweep. Bring out the brooms. Oh, hate the Leafs. There's my rant. I'm telling you. Buffalo Bills and Toronto Maple Leafs, I don't know if I hate. And Philadelphia Fly. Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, Philadelphia Flyers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know if there's teams I hate more than that in all sports. Really, I don't. Like, despise them. I used to hate the Nets when Vince Carter was on them, but he left, so we're good. But yeah, that's my feelings. You know? No, man, listen, you want a story for you? There you go. My story for you. I love the Hurricanes. Big Sebastian Aho fan. In fact, story for you. My nephew, he's coming up through the GTHL. And my brother, very tied in to the hockey community. One of his best friends is an OHL scout. And since you're a Hurricanes fan, this is for you, Dolphin Don. My nephew got the same prospect score by this talent evaluator, this OHL talent evaluator, got the same exact score as Sebastian Aho. So there you go. I'm a big, hey, I like the Hurricanes. So anyways, let's get to football here because that's why everyone's here. Y'all got me going off on the rails, man. You know, when you bring up the Leafs, man. You know, it's the same thing if I had a Penguins channel and someone brought up the Bills. I'd go off the rails. I hate them so much. 50th State Fins fan says, you the man reason. Thank you very much, sir. All pro for 3 months. Appreciate that. My nephew is going to be drafted into the OHL. My nephew plays on a GTHL that absolutely churns out OHL draft picks, and then once he gets drafted in the OHL, there you go. Then he'll go to the show. I think both my nephews will probably end up going. At least my oldest will probably go to the show, and my youngest, he might go to the show too, but he's at least probably gonna get a shot at the A if he wants it. The AHL, if anyone wants to know. My brother churns them out, man. My brother churns them out. My brother could have gone to the show too if he, you know. My brother got the hot head like I do. So 50th State Fins fan, $9.99. Appreciate you for the donation, sir. Thank you very much. So, listen, before we get into everything, we got 234 of you in the room. Smash the like button, subscribe if you are new. I want to shout out all y'all in the chat. 235 of y'all on this beautiful Friday, May 5th. Pro Special, MG Taxman. Haven't seen you in a minute, homie. How you doing? Duke Tomlinson, obviously the homie Knight. Aladino and Andrew Harris. Robert Lund says, hey, Reason, how about them Sorry-Hats Leafs? Hooked Up Joe, Chris Gifford, Stetson O, Robert Thomason, Dolphin, Don, G, Reed, Angel, David Figley, Kingsy 305, Kieran. How are y'all doing? Fred Rivera, Uso1. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about Big Play Slay. Troy Hicks. How are you doing? Robert Trainer. Who else we got here? Brian Gugger, James Steele, George Russell, Thomas Burt. How you doing? Barry Bailey, Josh Hart. Who else we got going on here? Super V, Topher, Gerald, Marvin. How you doing? Hope you had a good. You got your birthday coming up, right, Marvin? And you're working at the Formula One. Enjoy, Marvin. Damn. Have fun this weekend at the Formula One. Javier, how you doing? 50th State Dolphin. Bruce Payne, how you doing, sir? The Finisher, Eddie, Ryan. How's everyone doing tonight? Just getting off work? Man, bless up. There you go. Now y'all can get in and start enjoying your weekend, right? Now y'all can get into it. So, what up, Dougley? He says, I'm here to not get my heart broken. Also, love you, bro. Love you too, bro. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Paulie King, KA, how you doing, man? Now, listen. I guess I'll start off with what's up, Sean? How you doing? I guess we'll start off with, off the rip here. We'll start off with the Dalvin Cook stuff. What's up, George? How you doing? Now, let me give you some backstory. So, I came across this, and I came across this video I'm going to play for you here. Now, let me double check. I hit up the person who made this video. It was on Bleacher Report. I hit up the person directly looking for their source material. I hit up Alain Poupar from SI.com, and, he didn't really, back this up. So I'm going to play a clip here, and I want you to listen. So, on Bleacher Report, there is a video you can go watch. It's about the possible landing spots for Dalvin Cook. And the 4th spot on this list was the Miami Dolphins. Okay? Now, the guy who's talking here is a guy by the name of, I believe it's Nate LaJoie. And, he works for Bleacher Report. I assume he covers the Patriots based off what I've been able to find out about him. So let me play because he is indicating there's a portion here where he indicates that Miami might be out on Cook, and I'm going to get into that. So let's go.
Now we get to the last team that I think Dalvin Cook could potentially go to. The chat has been all over it. I've seen a ton of Dolphin logos in the chat. The Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins were easily the most heavily rumored team for Dalvin Cook for a long, long time. A long time. Really after the Super Bowl, and honestly, after Minnesota got eliminated, you started thinking about teams that Dalvin Cook could potentially go to. The Miami Dolphins were without a doubt, the number one team. He's from Miami. This would be a real homecoming for him. We talked about the potential Tampa Bay homecoming as it pertains to him going to Florida State, for college, but this would really be his homecoming, having been, raised in Miami. But as of right now, apparently, Sports Illustrated and Jeff Howe are both reporting, that Miami might be out of the running for Dalvin Cook. Miami's backfield is very crowded at the moment, if we're going to be honest. Granted, do I think any of these running backs are to the level of Dalvin Cook? No, I really don't. But Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, they just took Devin Achane 84th overall in this year's draft. So I don't really know about Miami. I just don't really see that one coming to fruition, now that they drafted a running back relatively early, not too early, 84th overall. But, you never know in the National Football League. You really don't. How many times have we seen, these freak trades come out of nowhere, specifically for these offensive weapons? Because like I said, in the AFC, it's really an arms race right now.
Okay, so you see what I'm saying? He mentioned specifically Sports Illustrated and Jeff Howe. I hit up Alain Poupart, or Alan, okay, now that he's been Americanized. I hit him up, and he just told me it doesn't make much sense. He didn't back that up at anything. So then Jeff Howe, as all of you know, I'm subscribed to The Athletic. I looked at every Jeff Howe article since just before the draft. Couldn't find a single thing, okay? Jeff Howe, as far as I know, doesn't have Twitter either, because I couldn't find a Twitter handle for him as well. So I looked high and low for the source of he was talking about for Sports Illustrated, and Jeff Howe reportedly saying we're out on Dalvin Cook. Could not find it to substantiate it. Usually I can, right? Perfect example. Remember when Twitter blew up a little bit that, the rumor is Dalvin Cook to Miami for a 5th. And then I found the exact freaking article, and it was clearly a projection and a prediction by the writer who covers the Vikings for the Pioneer Press. This is one of I can name how many times on my hand I have not been able to find the sourced clip or article. Can't find it. I know Alain Poupart has been on Big O and said he doesn't think he'll come here. But I have not found a report from Jeff Howe. And I have not found a report from Sports Illustrated. So he's backing it up with something that I can't find for all of y'all. So, I'm trying, I'm looking, I can't find it. But Jeff Howe is a writer for The Athletic. He wasn't specific with Sports Illustrated. Trust me. Googled every match you could think of. I had The Athletic. I went through every Jeff Howe article. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find Jeff Howe on Twitter. That individual you guys watched, Nate LaJoie, I DM'd him directly about 3 hours ago. And I said, hey, listen, you mentioned la 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 la. Where's the source material for this? Nothing. So, I know people are going to come across that on Bleacher Report, and they're going to wonder what's going on there. Listen, Jeff Howe is a very credible individual. That's why I'm trying to find this, because if Jeff Howe said that, it's worth listening to. or reading. So, again, nothing's going to happen until June 1st. But like I've told you, hey, listen, me personally, I put it on a 40%. And the whole reason why I'm putting it at 40% is because of what I've heard privately from Dalvin Cook's side in terms of willing to play ball financially. If I didn't hear all that stuff, I'd put this at like a 10% at best that he's coming here. But we're going to find out if he's really willing to play ball and if he really wants to play at home. Because if he's willing to play ball financially, he really wants to play at home, like I said to Alan Popar, after he said it doesn't make much sense. You're all in. Dalvin Cook is better than your whole running back room combined, minus, of course, Devin Achane. If he's willing to come here for $4 or $5 million, who are you to say no when you have all this money freed up? That would make no sense whatsoever, especially when he's a weapon we can use right now. Ryan Dunn donates $4.99, said, hey, Reason, your streams keep me updated on Dolphin news when I'm on my 12-hour shifts at work, and I thank you for that. I appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you very much, sir. Have a great shift. The homie Dougley donated $4.99. He said, and this is why everyone should sub to you. Get the clarity so we don't jump to conclusions. Love you, bud. Keep up the great work. Love you too, bro. Keep up the great work, bro. This man is on the way to 50K. Dougley about to continue just setting records and setting the bar. So shout out to the homie Dougley Do-Wrong, man. Y'all say it. Me and Dougley are the trendsetters. What it is, baby. This man about to hit 50K. Go sub if you're not subbed to him. Let's get him there, man. For real talk. If anyone deserves it, it's the homie Dougley Do-Wrong, one of the nicest people in this community. All right? So show him the love he deserves. So, listen. I'm not trying to mislead or clickbait anyone. That info is out there. I tried to do my research. Hours I was looking, okay? You know, I was looking high and low. I asked other people if they had read anything. And I never do that. So, I mean, you know, listen. I will keep looking, and if I find it, I will bring it up. But there it is, okay? Apparently, according to The Athletic and the Sports Illustrated, we may reportedly be out on Dalvin Cook. Take that for what it's worth. This guy might respond to me tonight, and next thing you know, hey, and if he does, I'll let y'all know when I'm live on Sunday with Neil, what he said. So, you know, again, another reason why I'm reporting it, because it would make sense after drafting Devin Achane. It would make sense. Let's be honest with yourselves, okay? It would make sense. So that's why I feel like and another reason why I'm putting it up here too is because it would make sense. So it's not like it's a crazy theory, you know what I mean? So, but again, for me, if you got $17 million, this draft class ain't gonna cost you nothing. You extend Wilkins, which, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta talk about this for a second, because the defensive tackle market is not working out in our favor. That's for sure. Okay. I'm just watching cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It just happens to be the craziest market out of all of them. And everyone getting paid, and this guy's sitting back and going to be the last one paid. And listen, I'm fine with the $60 million Dexter Lawrence got guaranteed. Totally fine with that. I am totally fine with guaranteeing that guy. Christian Wilkins, I'll give you 16, no problem. No problem with the $60 million. Where I start to is the average per year. So, you know, you look at 90 million, 22.5 million a year. It's a whole lot different than 15 million, okay? And I know guaranteed, but listen, Christian Wilkins has gotten better every year. There's a good chance you're going to hit those incentives if you lay them out. All right? I hate to be the one to tell you all this. So, where I'm at with him, I'm down. Anything over 80 million, I'm fine with 16. Hey, listen. I'll do you even one more solid here, okay? I'll do even one more solid, all right? I will guarantee you $1 million more per year signed. So, I will give you, instead of 60, I'll give you 64 million guaranteed if that means you're willing to take like 75 or 78 million. I'm with, let's do that. Play ball. Right? So I can keep that cap number down. Either way, you extend him, you're adding more money on. Like, we would jump from 17 million in cap space to over 25. You can afford Dalvin Cook. Like I keep saying, whatever he wants, sign him for a 2-year, $12 million contract, $13 million contract, whatever it is, front load that. Whatever he wants guaranteed, front load. Because that's all he's about. He's about $2 million guaranteed. Because here's where I'm at. Listen. Go get me Cam Fleming. Go get me Dalton Risner. Go get me Dalvin Cook. We're going to have so much money to play with if you extend Wilkins. Brother, we're all in this year. Throw everything at it. Hell, you want to sign Brandon Shell too? Knock yourself out. Because let's be honest, Cam Fleming, Brandon Shell, and Dalton Risner, between the three of them are going to cost you probably what, $10 million? They've been sitting on their hands. The market is not robust right now. Just saying. I'm down. Do it. You're going to have all this money to play with. Throw it. 1017 man donates 20, said, thanks, broski, for the awesome comment. Thank you for the donation, sir. And listen, all of you who can't donate or won't donate, whatever, please just do me the favor, do me the solid, smash that like button. Just do me that. Hey, we're good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence got 4 years, $90 million, but he got $60 million guaranteed. Right? So I'm okay with this. Hey, I'll give you $64 million guaranteed. I'll give you $16 million a year guaranteed. But I want to keep that number 80 or below. I ain't trying to go over 80 million. See, like, that's the thing, bro. The DT market is ridiculous right now. It is ridiculous. You might want to relook at that, my friend. Seiler does give you the pressure. Okay? Seiler had the same amount of sacks and more pressures on less snaps than Christian Wilkins. Where Christian Wilkins was better than him on more snaps was obviously he had more run stops. More effective against the run. But on less snaps, Seiler was more of a pocket disruptor. When you look at it last year. The film tells you that and the analytics tell you that. So, you just got to pay one or the other. I keep going back to this. Listen. Oh, no, it's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. Last year, these guys were getting 14 to 15 million. This year, it's up to 22.5 million. The top tier guys are getting paid. You've seen a crazy spike. Last year, you could have had Christian Wilkins for about 15, 16 million max. It's definitely jumped. It's been one of the biggest positional spikes out of all the positions this offseason. It's definitely crazy compared to prior years. He actually wasn't insanely disruptive when you look at his actual like hurries and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Zach Seiler was more on, I believe it was 92 less snaps, 90 some odd less snaps. Zach Seiler was far more disruptive in terms of hurries, had the same amount of sacks. Yeah, Zach Seiler was way more disruptive. Zach Seiler offers you more from a pass rush standpoint than Christian Wilkins is. Christian Wilkins is never going to be special or elite from a pass rush standpoint. That's just what it is with him. That's not a knock on him. That's just never going to be the strongest part of the game or a super strong part of his game. Now, that may change now, but we're also changing to gap and a half now. So I got to see how he can take that on. So we'll see. We'll see how it all goes, but very interesting on the whole Christian Wilkins. That's very interesting because all these deals keep getting done, and we're out here playing twiddly dinks. And I'm telling you, it's not as cut and dry as people think it is. It's really not, especially when we got Seiler in house. They're gonna want. I think they want to see what he does with Fangio. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Very interested to see how that all plays out. That's for sure. Now, interesting article here from Joe Shad. What Dolphins Mike McDaniel can address in year 2 as NFL head coach. When Mike McDaniel told Raheem Mostert he was sorry the Dolphins didn't run more last season, it wasn't lip service and it wasn't a recruiting tactic to bring back a free agent. Mostert knows McDaniel exceptionally well, dating back to their time in San Francisco. And Mostert believes and trusts that McDaniel is transparent, direct, self-reflective, self-aware, and humble. The Dolphins will benefit from lots of offensive players entering their second year of McDaniel's offensive system in 2023. But perhaps even more importantly, the Dolphins will benefit from McDaniel entering his second year as a head coach in the NFL. Being a first-time head coach, you're testing the waters a little bit, Mostert said this week. But now that he's settled down, I believe he's going to start making moves in a way that's going to shock the world. Shock the world? Look, we're not exactly sure what shock the world could mean. More fun, creative, innovative offensive plays? Maybe, probably. More diverse packages and an expansion of a base offense that's already been installed? Probably. We can expect McDaniel to ramp up the creativity now that incoming defensive coordinator Vic Fangio has promised to deliver an intriguingly tweaked version of his proven scheme. Spring and summer practices should be a lot of fun. McDaniel largely let former defensive coordinator Josh Boyer handle his side of the football, and McDaniel figures to allow Fangio to serve as defensive head coach. But the potential, if those two can clink and vibe and brainstorm, is immense and enticing. McDaniel may also consider more being hands-on with special teams this season. As many good feelings as there were around the Dolphins last year, with a playoff appearance and one of the most productive offenses in the NFL, tied for second in the NFL in yards per play, it cannot be dismissed that there was only a 9-8 regular season and an 0-1 playoff result. In the moments after a loss at Buffalo, McDaniel was asked to assess his first year as a head coach. I know there will be plenty of things that I'll get better at, McDaniel admitted, which is why I look at the expectation for myself and my job. That will never change. That will be the same thing every year, but my primary concern is that I do everything possible to try and put people in positions for success. Here are a few things Mike McDaniel can surely and will surely attempt to address. Reduce offensive delay of game penalties. The Dolphins were tied for fourth in the NFL with 111 offensive penalties called. Conversely, only 3 NFL teams had fewer defensive penalties called than Miami last season. McDaniel, in his first time as a full-time offensive play caller, was at times slow to get the call in. There were 69 pre-snap penalties called, which is, well, atrocious. I think that really every year for me, I'm going to have a high level of anxiety if I'm not finding stuff that I can't completely get better from, McDaniel said this spring. The belief that you're constantly a better version of yourself, that drives me. There are plenty of situations that we had pre-snap penalties. I think we led the league in them offensively. So obviously there's a lot of work to do, and we're all excited about rectifying. Clock management is just another layer of things that I've already begun the process of calling the play faster. And Shad didn't mention it here, but another reason, it helps Tua, right? If Tua, I go back to all the times about, when I was watching the Staley film with the Bears and how he's just confusing everyone. But the one guy who wasn't confusing, who had been around the league for a little bit, was Ben Roethlisberger. But Ben Roethlisberger also had a lot of time at the line of scrimmage to decipher and set things up and call and make his adjustments, right? If you're going up against a defense that has got you figured out, you want to start giving your quarterback more time at the line of scrimmage to start to see things, because as the game goes on, he'll start to pick up tendencies. So the more time you give him at the line of scrimmage, the more things he'll see and start to be able to decipher pre-snap, right? So, certain post-snap looks, he will notice them doing things pre-snap that he had seen before earlier in the game. Now, they could be setting up false keys. Here, I agree. But at the same point, sometimes defenses, and a lot of times defenses start giving off, they start giving off their tells. And you can start reading tells pre-snap, but you need time at the line. So, reduce penalties overall. Miami led the NFL in penalties against, according to NFLpenalties.com. The Dolphins had low penalty numbers under their former coach, who once made players run to a wall at practice after committing a penalty. McDaniel's not doing that. There were 22 false starts. That's too many. There were 11 defensive pass interference calls. Too many. There were 8 delays of games. Too many. In general, you have to rip the Band-Aid off and show the team the consequences of said penalties, McDaniel said of penalties during last season. How is the offense doing, or how's the defense doing as a team? How have we worked to get to the situation? Then, what does that penalty do? That's the way I emphasize it is just independently, but I do it as a whole team so they can understand the ramifications. Miami will hope the hiring of new offensive line coach will not only help the offensive line, but will also free up offensive coordinator Frank Smith to make a wider scope approach in 2023. Find more success in replay review. McDaniel was 1 for 6 in challenge overturns. Come on, man. Miami. Yeah, it was. We all knew. Robert Saleh was 3 for 6. McDermott was 1 for 4. Belichick was 1 for 1. You know, we all, and there was a lot of challenges where McDaniel threw it last year, and we all know he wasn't getting the dub. Balance on offense. This is a passing league, and Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and McDaniel know they need to pass to win. But the Dolphins were 31st in rush attempts and tied for 18th in yards per attempt. But that's misleading. Chase Edmonds, 2.9 yards per carry, didn't work out and was traded away. But Moser at 4.9 yards per carry and Jeff Wilson at 4.7 are more than capable. McDaniel should aim to move from the 31st team in rushes to top 16. I agree. This would help Tua and keep the defenses even more off balance and honest. McDaniel says he is bound and determined to always improve. McDaniel has acknowledged he encountered some learning curves. Moser said he's noticed McDaniel is totally locked in for year 2. What should give Dolphin fans confidence that McDaniel will make adjustments in year 2 of his head coaching career is this. He's not egotistical, rigid, or stubborn. And you know who he's talking about there. Listen, and it's not just one guy. You know, Philbin, you know, Cam Cameron, Gase, Flores, they're all like that. And, you know, I've talked about this. And this is why, you know, I've talked about how confident they seem just talking. You know, they're so confident when they're talking about how they got something figured out for the offensive line. They're confident like men who aren't relying on Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg long-term to be the solution. Like they've got ideas and plans in place and something figured out. You know what I mean? The one thing, you know, Chase Edmonds was mentioned in that article. The one thing you always have to respect about this new regime, they are quick to admit their mistakes and cut bait. They did it. They've done it. We've seen them do it with coaches and players that McDaniel has personally brought in and gushed about. There is no ego. And you got to love that, man. You got to love that. Because that is how we're going to find harmony in that front office, on the sideline, and with the product on the field. It's big. It's good stuff. It's positive stuff, man. So, man, I'm excited. And I agree. You find that balance, you're going to see an even better Tua Tagovailoa. Even more windows are going to be open for him. And we're going to feast even more. But what we do also need to improve on, especially from the offensive standpoint, listen, last year, you can see here on this chart, on the left side, that is average receiver separation. Okay? Bottom, percentage of yardage after the catch. Look at our yak compared to other teams. We were separating, you know, I mean, look at the separation we're getting, right? We were top 8, top 9 in separation. But look at where we were. Us and the Bills were at the bottom of the league in yak. And I know this is skewed thanks to the fact that we had games with Skylar and Teddy. But after the catch, that's going to need to improve a lot more this year. And with the addition of Braxton Berrios and such, I do expect that number to jump, especially not if, but when Tua plays a full healthy season this year. But, I mean, just to put things in perspective, okay, you know, 2 years ago, we couldn't separate and we couldn't yak. Now we've got the separation down, but we need to get that yak, right? We need to even find balance with yak and separation. So, especially when you look at the track team we fielded last year, you would expect us to be at least in the top 15, the top half of yak in the league. And nope. So, listen, and again, I think running the football will lead to more yak, right? Because we saw so many too high shells that teams are just staying over top of us and trying to limit those explosive plays. So, if you can run the football, you can draw defenders up in the box. You can go over the top of them a little bit more, right? There'll be more lanes for after the catch runs. So let's see. Again, by finding that balance with the run game, you'll find more yak in the passing game, right? They won't be able to sit on top of you with those too high shells as much anymore. So just a very interesting thing given our speed. Let's get into a little Tua talk here. I want to show y'all what Devontae Smith and Darius Slay had to say about Tua Tagovailoa and how nice of a ball he throws. Check this out.
Definitely with Tua being a left-handed, so I know that ball coming out different for sure. And, and I've
Yeah.
been hearing about Tua having this old soft touch that Cheetah always talking about. So it had to be, he said, just feel like a loaf of bread just falling in your hand. You done caught the ball from it. Is it like a loaf of bread falling in your hand?
Definitely.
Is that okay? Okay, so it must be he got a nice, pretty ball. That's what they say. They say he got a nice, pretty ball. We went down there to play them, get some in Miami with the joint practice. You could tell that he got like a nice arm. He a guy that needs to feel for spots. Like he a guy that's just throwing blind spots. Not just saying as in just throwing it just to throw it, but he expects you to be there to make the play. It's like a Drew Brees type of guy to me, because that's what Drew Brees used to do back in his day. Just he threw it to a spot and he expected you to be there. That's just how Tua looked like to me when we was practicing against him, because he would dot some things up and on time it was on point and everything. So I like Tua game, definitely with Tua being a left-handed. So I know that.
I'm just saying that's one of the best corners in football, just compared to a Tagovailoa and his anticipation of throwing to spots where receivers are going to be. Just compared him to Drew Brees, because Drew Brees would do the same thing. Remember all these idiots were trying to tell all y'all he's a spot thrower like it's a bad thing? Now you got Darius Slay talking about how good of a thing it is and how good Drew Brees was at it and how Tua reminds him of how good Drew Brees was at it. Holy. Big play Slay, one of the best corners in the NFL right there telling you. Good arm, good ball placement, and they're talking about how good his touch is. But y'all want to listen to these idiots that they never played a lick of football and don't know how to watch film or properly evaluate players. Oh boy. Well, stuff I say, Martin says, Ballgame says, literally. It's just reworded, but it gets backed up by the Kurt Warners, the Peyton Mannings, the Darius Slays. You tell me who knows what they're talking about when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa in football and who doesn't. Okay? So shout out to Darius Slay, man. Always going to respect a top-flight corner giving our quarterback that kind of love, man. See, I'm telling all y'all. We saw Poyer gush about him. People around the league know Tua's for real. They know what the deal is, man. Tyreek and that offense last year made them a believer. They know. They have seen the ceiling of this kid. And they've seen it just like me. And they said, that kid got a top 5 ceiling if he stays healthy and keeps playing in this system. They all see it. Just telling you, man. Man, I hope it's an Eagles-Dolphins, eh? Oh, Super Bowl. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Whew. Shout out to Big Play Slay. Love it. Hey, remember Jonathan Franklin? We went from a couple of years ago when guys like Jonathan Franklin Myers would take shots at Tua Tagovailoa, and all these players would take their little jabs at Tua Tagovailoa, to now look at the flowers these guys give him. One of the best corners in football, just compared him to one of the best anticipatory throwers of all time in Drew Brees. Oh, I rest my case. Thank you very much. All the validation I need. That is all the validation I need. Thank you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Good stuff. Now, sticking with Tua a little bit here. We all kind of ripped on the Will McDonald pick. Well, look at what Will McDonald from the New York Jets had to say. A little interesting piece from Antoine Staley here, who covers them now. Used to cover the Dolphins, now he covers the Jets. So the question was, stripping the ball, where did you learn that from? Will McDonald. I feel like something that really helps me with that is my jiu-jitsu and my hand-eye coordination and balance. The objective you want to get the ball, if you get the ball, is money. Question, Tua is studying jiu-jitsu to help him with falling. How did that help with you with falling? And this is what Will McDonald said. I've been doing it since middle school. It definitely helps a lot with balance, keeping you up on your feet. It'll definitely help me out a lot with coming around the corner, making sure I'm slipping. I'm able to keep myself up and use my hands to catch my balance. It is definitely going to help him out in the long run. So, you come to this channel, my friends, okay? We've shown you an offensive line coach in the NFL right now who believes in jiu-jitsu and implemented it at Washington University, and this was the first season after using his program that no offensive lineman at the University of Washington had a concussion or a documented concussion or stinger. Okay? Now we got players coming out and talking about how they use it. Players that are coming to the NFL talking about how long they've been using it. Okay? I really don't think people, how do you not know how to fall? I'm going to explain this one more time for you. Okay? Because it's clearly these people were never athletes, let alone played any sports. Okay? Don't let my COVID body fool you, okay? The kid used to get down when it came to hockey, baseball, and football. All right? Rock it right here, all right? Rock it. And let me tell you something, all right? When it comes to this, when you got a kid like Tua Tagovailoa in high school, he's the best athlete on the field, not even close. He don't got to worry about getting hit or going down. Then what happens? Now you go from a really good athlete in high school, right? Well, you go from an elite athlete in high school to now you're like a really good, pretty good athlete at Alabama, right? Then the hip injury happens, but also even if the hip injury didn't happen, if you're a pretty good or a really good athlete, in college, you're gonna be on the level of a good athlete in the NFL because now you're getting to the cream of the crop, right? The elite athletes are there, the really good athletes are there. You're a good athlete, all right? You how I look at it, you usually get knocked down a tier, unless you're like elite. If you're elite in high school, you got a chance to be elite in college and the NFL. But if you're like a really good athlete in high school, you're probably going to be like, good at the next level. And then you're going to be like, pretty good at the top level. And that's basically what's happened. You know what I mean? When you're in high school and you're the best athlete on the field, he didn't have to worry about falling or getting hit. Then he goes to Alabama and they literally build a wall for him. And the hip injury and the significant injuries he had were him overextending the plays, right? The line did their job. They built a wall for him and they protected him, right? But he's still in that mentality of the high school athlete of, I've done this on a football field where guys just can't touch me and I can just make the play, right? He never adjusted and adapted that mentality. Listen, I'm not going to knock for him because it's part of his formula of why he's such a winner. He's a competitor. But at the end of the day, you got to know your limits, right? You got to know your game's limits. You got to know your team's limits, et cetera, et cetera. You got to know what you can and can't do. So, and now you look at it. He's taking jiu-jitsu. He said he's learning how to absorb hits and distribute it evenly through his body. So, hey. And Hooked Up's Joe ain't lying. Look what Hooked Up Joe said. He ain't lying because I know there's a fact. What Hooked Up Joe just said is a fact. There are legitimately right there. He said it. Knight said it. People act like martial arts has been used for over 7 years in sports. Dudes out here doing ballet for footwork. 110%. There you go. Hooked Up Joe. Some players used to take ballet. It's exactly for those quick, fleet, smooth footwork. People used to take ballet. Even bigger men, linemen, take ballet too. It's not far-fetched. These people are just, what can I tell you? Casuals, brother. Casuals. Listen, I want to go over some notes that Barry Jackson has here. We'll go over them here on the lineman. UDFA notes. Let's look at this too, okay? So, feedback notes on the 6 offensive linemen hoping to make the Dolphins roster. The Dolphins so far have delayed signing a veteran tackle to compete with Austin Jackson, but they're bringing in a handful of college tackles hoping to find a diamond in the rough. That group includes 1 draft pick, Ryan Hayes, and 4 undrafted rookies. Michigan State left tackle Jarrett Horst, South Dakota left tackle Alex Jensen, Miami Hurricanes right guard, right tackle DJ Skife, and Cincinnati left tackle James Tunstall. Not Tunstall, Tunstall. They will compete for possibly 1 job on the 53-man roster or multiple jobs on the practice squad. Kendall Lamb and Jaron Christian are the only veteran backup offensive tackles under contract, behind starter Teron Armstead and potential starter Austin Jackson. Though general manager Chris Greer says the expectation is that Jackson will start, another veteran could be signed to compete with him at some point. Even though Robert Hunt can play right tackle, the Dolphins say they prefer to play him at right guard. So here's some notes. On Hayes and Horst, the Dolphins coincidentally added 2 Michigan-based Big Ten starting left tackles within an hour of each other on early Saturday evening. Hayes, who's 6'6" and 298, was a better overall prospect than Horst and is considered the better pass blocker. That's why he was drafted and Horst wasn't. But Horst, who is 6'6" and 300 pounds, graded out better as a run blocker last season. PFF rated Horst 18th overall amongst all tackles last season compared to 55th for Hayes. After transferring from Arkansas State, Horst started 8 games at left tackle for Michigan State, allowing 6 quarterback hurries and 1 sack, and then 7 games in 2022 where he allowed 7 pressures and 3 sacks on 267 pass rushing chances. Conversely, Hayes has allowed 9 pressures but no sacks and 287 pass blocking chances last season. Pass protection advantage Hayes. But PFF rated Horst the nation's 7th best tackle as a run blocker compared to 74th for Hayes. Horst, incidentally, was the first pick of the USFL draft in February. NFLDraftBuzz.com said Horst uses his hands well. I wouldn't go off them. I wouldn't go off them. I was surprised he lasted to 238, said Mel Kiper of Hayes. His 2022 tape is very solid. Lance Zierlein predicts Hayes could become an average tackle or guard in the pros. He said he's missing the functional strength as a tackle, but plays with a slightly elevated pad level that could slow a transition inside to guard. Cincinnati's Tunstall was an FCS All-American at Stony Brook before transferring to Cincinnati, where he started 24 games at left tackle during the past 2 seasons. His good size is 6'5", 320. Per PFF, he permitted 6 sacks and 20 pressures on 461 pass blocking snaps last season. And that's not good because only 12 FBS offensive tackles relinquished more sacks than him. PFF rated him just 322nd as a run blocker last season, so I wouldn't be expecting much. South Dakota's Jensen, PFF, I think he might get kicked inside. Doesn't have the metrics on FCS prospects, but the 6'7", 299-pounder is considered a fringe pro prospect. He started 22 games at left tackle the past 2 years and was all Missouri Valley Conference second team both seasons. NFL Draft Countdown rated him the 34th best tackle in the draft. Skyfe, and I like Skyfe here. I think he can go at guard or tackle here. He started extensively at both guard and tackle for the Hurricanes. PFF rated him 170th amongst 559 qualifying FBS tackles last season. PFF rated him especially well as a pass blocker last season, 56. Playing right tackle, he permitted 15 pressures and just 2 sacks on 483 pass blocking chances. But PFF rated him just 276th as a run blocker, and runs behind the right tackle averaged just 3.5 yards last season. NFLDraftScout.com said Skype is fundamentally sound and understands blocking angles using body positioning to his advantage, discipline awareness, and good intelligence. Solid positional run blocker who flashes the nasty demeanor, killer instinct scouts covet, has adequate foot quickness to remain outside, bursts off the snap, and sets up quickly with little wasted motion. But the website said he does need to work on technique and pass pro, using more consistent leverage and continuing to move his feet. Has only average measurables with limited arm length and no overpowering qualities, not physically imposing. Now, the Dolphins also signed San Diego State center Alama Ulave, who PFF rated him 101st out of 284 centers last season. PFF said he was the nation's 15th best pass blocker amongst centers in 367 pass blocking snaps. Last season, he allowed only 1 sack and 10 pressures. Pro Football Network's Tony Pauline calls him a hard-working center who gets most from his ability, possesses enough short area quickness to play in zone blocking scheme. He'll never start on Sundays, but Ulave has enough ability to warrant a spot on a practice squad this fall. At best, he's likely a practice squad candidate because Dan Feeney is expected to back up Connor Williams at center. The Dolphins liked him enough, though, that they gave him $65,000 guarantee. Now, I think he can land as a backup, eventually work his way up. You know what I mean? I saw some things on tape I liked of him. Now, the rest of the offensive line, I like Skyfe. I'm not really expecting much out of anyone other than Hayes, really. I think Hayes is going to give Eichenberg a run for his money, and maybe Horst has a good camp and makes it run at the swing tackle position. I don't know, but going to be very interesting to watch how that whole battle plays out. And I do think after June 1st, there's going to be more names added to that. All right, 390 of you in the room, smash that like button. Now, on the second part, he said feedback and details on Dolphins' new rookie linebackers. And there's some guys I really like in here. So in part 2, here it is. On Ezekiel Vanderberg. Vanderberg, who goes by Zeke, had an extraordinary 2022 season with 100 tackles, including 17 for a loss, 14 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. He was a Missouri Valley Conference Defensive Player of the Year. His size, 6'3", 233, is one factor that works against him in the draft process. It might be easy to discount Vanderberg's production as he lacked desired NFL mass, length, and quickness off the edge, but his relentlessness and football instincts are worthy of deeper dives for evaluators. He's more active than sudden, so he needs to get bigger and stronger to fit a bully role as a pro. He knows how to play the game and finds his way to the football on a consistent basis. He has a high-octane motor that pushes him around the field with zero quit. Vanderberg might have a limited ceiling, but he could find his way onto an NFL roster as a backup and special teams performer. Which of his skills will translate to the NFL? I think I play with great effort, he told MyStateLine.com last month. Explosive off the ball, play physical football, and I think I've got a knack for where the ball is going to be, and a great football IQ where I can decipher offenses and know what's coming before it comes. And hey, if you can contribute in special teams, there's always a spot. I've always had this dream, and I've always believed in myself, and there are a lot of people around me that believe in me. So I know with my consistency that eventually it would pay off. Vanderberg, who has a master's degree in sports management, told the Illinois State website that a position switch helped trigger his dramatic improvement from 2021 to 2022. The move to outside linebacker to the boundary side helped me a lot because it's a lot harder to take the player out of the equation week to week because they're always near the ball. In the year before, when I was playing Sam, strong side linebacker on the field, you can kind of dictate how the Sam would be in each play by formation, and removing him to extend it to the field. So I think it was harder to take me out of games this year. The position change really benefited me. He was an academic All-American and graduated with a 4.0 in exercise science. He had no Power 5 offers coming out of high school in Freeport, Illinois in 2017. Now, another kid I really like. Man, I love Zeke, but I love this kid too. Aubrey Miller. Of the 21 undrafted players added by the Dolphins, Miller might be the best pro prospect. His size, 6'2", 229, worked against him in the draft process, but productivity was unquestioned. He led the Southwestern Atlantic Conference with 109 tackles to go along with 6.5 sacks in 2021. Then he produced 117 tackles last season, which tied for 9th in the FCS. His 2022 body of work also included 6.5 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, and 5 forced fumbles. He was named the Southwestern Atlantic Conference Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. Lance Zierlein had him projected as a 6th-round pick, noting that Miller is patient but ready when keying the action and uses anticipatory skills to help him stay cleaner than most undersized inside backers. He aims to punish as a striker and is a capable open-field tackler. He's nothing special in coverage but displays potential to become a plus special teamer. Among his strengths, per Zierlein, vision and anticipation to shadow runners' lane choices, fearless to crash hard and punish downhill runners, and impressive flashes in limited special teams snaps. The last point, his ability to play special teams, is important and could be one of the differences in earning a spot on the 53. Special teams always is a key part of the discussion in determining a team's 52nd and 53rd players. On the flip side, Zierlein said he lacks size to overcome mistakes, needs to improve and prove he can elevate his play versus better competition. Per the Jackson Clare and Ledger, Miller has been working out in Florida with the NFL players such as Leonard Fournette and Rob Gronkowski. Colorado coach and Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, who coached him last season, said last November, he's matured a lot. The guy plays his heart out. He goes about his job really professionally and hard. Aubrey is one of the guys that we hang our hats on in the middle of the defense, making calls, getting the ball, flying around, and really setting the tone and the tempo, not just on game day, but in practice as well. Miller told SI.com that he modeled his playing style around former UM and NFL great Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis being able to control the volume of a team, being able to bring the energy, not only off the field, but on the field. I mean, this guy who was laying everybody out, who's still able to make the plays, who seemed like he was still able to control the plays, that's the type of guy kind of brainwashed into me. UM's University of Miami, Mitchell's Agude. He had 39 tackles, including 7 for a loss and 4 sacks last season in his only season playing for UM. He played the first 2 seasons at UCLA, sound familiar, and had 14.5 tackles for a loss and 4.5 sacks in 18 games for the Bruins. Senior Bowl Executive Director Jim Nagy raved about Agudiez in a 5-part Twitter thread last June, noting that his talent jumps off tape and his disruptive knack for separating the ball from the quarterback with 7 forced fumbles at UCLA in 2021, and held up well at the point of attack when UCLA reduced him inside, and plays every snap like it's his last. But he went from a potential mid-round prospect to falling out of the draft after a decent but not dominant year at CBSSports.com noted there's some wasted movement in his pass rush plan as he looks to gain ground. Agudie can do a better job of stacking and shedding blockers. Agudie impressed the Dolphins during a film session study in mid-April when he and several other local prospects at the time at the team's facility. Agudie has the type of skills that make him a better prospect than former UM and DeAndre Johnson, who was signed by the Dolphins after last year's draft but didn't make the practice squad. Another guy I love here, Garrett Nelson. A bunch of teams pursued the 6'3", 249-pound Nelson, who had 65 tackles, 9 for loss, and 5.5 sacks in 12 games last season when he was second team All Big Ten. He also had 2 pass breakups, 2 fumble recoveries, and a forced fumble. In 2021, he had 5 sacks and 11.5 tackles for a loss, which ranked him 9th in the Big Ten. Then Nelson impressed the Dolphins during a pre-draft visit to team headquarters. Lance Zierlein calls him a burly, try-hard edge defender with good power in his hands and an aggressive demeanor on the field. A lack of twitch and short area quickness limited his effectiveness. Nelson is certainly tough enough to play on the edge. He lacks the ideal athletic profile for the position of the NFL. He might be the best suited to play inside linebacker where he can accentuate his strength. Zierlein cites these positives amongst others. Plays with a healthy dose of violence at the point of attack. Hand play to punch and stack tackle or work around at the edge. One-track mind to the football. On the flip side, he notes that he was beaten soundly in one-on-ones against Peter Skoronski. Nelson projects as a 3-4 outside linebacker or defensive end. I've done so many different jobs on the defense that I want teams to recognize that versatility, and they can use me wherever they want. He said that not being invited to the NFL Combine was definitely a bummer. My dad called me and was like, you can't let that bum you out, completely throw you off your training. There's tons of dudes that play super long that are great players. Nobody knows anything that is going on at all. That's definitely what I've learned through this whole thing. Listen, you guys already know that, man, I love some of these UDFAs that they've added here. You know, 3 of them just highlighted in that last article. Love me, Zeke Vandenberg. Love Aubrey Miller. And I love Garrett Nelson. You know, I think defensively, UDFA-wise, holy, I think we did, you know, a fantastic job. You know, offensively, you know, I like Julian Hill, who they added. I like Skype. I like Ulave. You know, I like Chris Coleman out of Cali Poly Tech. But, you know, you look at, you know, Brandon Pilley, Anthony Montavo, the 122nd best RAS since 1987 and over 2,000 DTs he has. Garrett Nelson, Randy Charlton, Mitchell Agudie, Zeke Vandenberg, Aubrey Miller, you know, Michael Turk. I really like what they did with some of these UDFAs. And I really think 2 or 3 of them are going to push for a roster spot, and a bunch of them are going to push to be high up on the pecking order for the practice squad. So I'm really excited about this UDFA class. They sure signed a lot of them. You know what I mean? So over 21 signed. I believe we're at 22 right now. So it's kind of crazy when you look at how many UDFAs. I mean, and we knew it was coming. We only had 4 draft picks, and we had, you know, to get to that 90 roster spot, we knew it was going to be 20 or more, right? And crazy enough, here we are. So, listen, huge fan of some of these kids. And I'm actually excited to hear what the word coming out of rookie minicamp is when it starts in a few weeks here. You know what I mean? And then I'm really excited to see how I got a feeling that this Aubrey Miller kid's going to perform. I got a feeling that this kid's going to make the roster. If you put a gun to my head right now and said, Reason, who would you put on this roster? Who would you place a prediction on making this roster? I got to go with Aubrey Miller right now, man. I got to go with Aubrey Miller. You know what I mean? He just seems like he's got those intangibles, you know, and, you know, people are just trying to overanalyzing his size, I think. And, man, hey, especially in Miami, how overanalyzed was Zach Thomas's size, right? How overanalyzed was that? So we're going to see it all play out, you know. And you know that like a guy like Brandon Pilley, you know they got big plans for a guy like that, potentially a defensive tackle. They gave him $100,000 guaranteed, which is a lot. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but did you see how much money Minnesota gave Andre Carter? Right? The edge out of Army. They gave him $300,000 guaranteed. Damn. That is a lot of money. And you know what? I look at all these guys, and I just see so many accolades between them all. And you just get the sense that one or two of these guys, possibly even three, they're going to hit. You know what, Aaron Berg? I actually agree with you. I'm not even going to lie to you. I think Turk is going to push, bro. Yeah, I think that's a good list, Foxen. Austin, that's a good list. I think, and Aaron said it here. I think Turk is going to push. I really think Jake Bailey was not good last year. What I think is going to be very intriguing about Anthony Montalvo and keeping him on the practice squad again, that athleticism is just out of this world. But yeah, I think Miller, Turk, Vanderberg, Pilley, that's a good list, Austin. I would probably agree. Those are probably the 4 top guys. And then I put Garrett Nelson right there, DJ Skife right there, Horst right there too. So we'll see how it all plays out, right? Time will tell how this all falls to be. Still over 360 of you in the room. Please smash the like button. Again, here is the deal, guys. I'm going to be live Sunday, all right? Look for me and Neil in the afternoon. We'll be live Sunday for an episode of Fin Too Deep. We got a lot of stuff planned. We just pushed it back to Sunday because he was celebrating his anniversary. So be on the lookout for that. Monday, 8 p.m. I know the Heat game's going to be on. Put the Heat game on and put us in the background because me, Ryan Roberts, and Dante Calinelli are going to break down this draft class and UDFA class even further for all of y'all. And then Tuesday, Cam Smith prospect profile. And then when we get there, I'll let you know where we're going for there. But Devin A. Chain's prospect profile should be dropping next week as well. So, yeah, shout out to Knight for the $2 donation. He said, did you see the O-line dude who played high school against, are you talking about Olave? Yeah, Alamo Olave, the center. I like him, bro. I like him. Especially, we got nothing really behind him. Behind Connor Williams solidified other than Feeney for this year. So it'd be nice to get a guy like Olave in, get him onto the practice squad, build him up. Feeney leaves in the next offseason, and Olave can slide in. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Smash that like button on the way out. Appreciate all of y'all. And you already know what time it is, baby. Fins up all day, every day. I will see all of y'all on Sunday. Unless something breaks tomorrow. See y'all then. Fins up, baby.